the Executive Governor of Edo State for granting us audience at such short notice. The gesture is not taken for granted and goes to show the commitment of the government of Edo State in working with development partners like ActionAid in achieving the vision and improving the lives of the Edo State people. I would also like, on behalf of ActionAid Nigeria and ActionAid globally, congratulate you on your re-election. We are sincerely pleased by your humility. We were watching with keen interest, and your humility was indeed displayed during the election and the successful inauguration for the second term for 4 years for the good people of Edo State. ActionAid Nigeria touched down here. I would say that ActionAid has been operating in Nigeria for almost 20 years. ActionAid is a social justice organization working with vulnerable people and making contributions to ending poverty. We believe that poverty can be eradicated if we all work together and our resources are utilized for the people. And so ActionAid's current strategy is social justice to end poverty. And that's why we have different projects depending on which country or which state we are going to, and this includes severally, we have about 17 projects. We want to also appreciate the collaboration of the different departments, multi-sectorial departments of Edo State, all the ministries. We have been collaborating with them since we started our operation in Edo State. And we sincerely appreciate the support and collaboration of Her Excellency, who has been with us through Migration One and also the SMILE project. It is imperative that I recognize the effort of the Edo State government's handling of COVID-19. The pandemic which took us unaware, the pandemic brings us all to a very significant message. All stakeholders led by the government must invest in our health systems, all levels, and also especially at the grassroots. Our ability as a people to respond swiftly to disease outbreaks is essential and must be enhanced. ActionAid started, here, touchdown was 1999, but 2000 properly, and have been a long-standing partner of Edo State. Between 2013 and 2018, ActionAid implemented a 5-year program, which was a sustainable mechanism for improving livelihoods and household empowerment, SMILE project. This project, ActionAid sponsored, supported Edo State to build systems that can prevent and respond to the full range of vulnerabilities and violations that children face. The creation of budget line and increased, investment on child protection issues in the state, which is a major achievement, I can say, that Edo State was able to achieve at that time. That was an achievement of that project. It was a SMILE project that supported the development, training, and inauguration of the Edo State Children Parliament and established an inauguration of the Family Court in Edo State. We also supported the state to develop and print policy documents such as the Edo Child Policy Protection, Edo Child Protection Policy, referral directory, among others. Similarly, from 2017 to 2019, we implemented the first phase of the migration project, also known as creation of alternative to migration through socioeconomic development, sensitization, and conflict prevention in Edo State and Borno, to tackle the root cause of irregular migration and forced migration, such as unemployment, by training, equipping, and mentoring about 2,000 youth in the state. And that is on agriculture, automobile. We had one that I'm so amazed of is the automobile women, some female mechanics that were trained, and that graduated at the time. We have such as carpentry, furniture, tailoring, show making, bag making, cosmetics, aluminium works, so that, they can manage economically and be viable and also productive as well. At a closeout of the first migration project, we had hopes, for the continuation of a phase 2. And I'm happy that at the closure, of that particular event, Mrs. Obaseki, who personally supported the implementation of the first phase, was also present at the event, and we promised her that we're not just walking away. And so, we also acknowledge that we enjoy the government support throughout because of the multi-sectoral presence. I remember that almost all the commissioners, all the meetings that we had, we were supported. They not only attend, but also they were part of it. And this funding is coming directly from the Ministry of Interior in Italy. And so we enjoyed the collaboration and cooperation of the Italian embassy as well. Today we are here and are happy to inform you that ActionAid again came back and we are implementing the second phase of the program, known as Dare to Hope project. The project is fully domiciled in Edo State and seeks to create economic alternatives to irregular migration for about 2,000 youth in 3 local governments in Edo State. The project is currently in its second year and has trained 1,000 youths in various skills. Our assessment have shown that the economic reasons, account for many irregular migration. When we are talking of migration, a lot of people are talking of the irregular migration. We have a lot of doctors and nurses that are in the country, on regular migration, and the doors are open for them. But the irregular is where they frown against, and we believe that you can get our citizens, if they must leave the country, they should leave it on the terms, on better terms that respects the dignity of the human person. So our assessment have shown that the economic reasons, these are the reasons for irregular migration. We are also working to strengthen the capacities of 7 state government agencies that have obligations around migration. This is in addition to the context-specific sensitization on the dangers of irregular migration, as well as through conditions, the conditions in the destination country. It is important to note, that we need to further deepen and enhance the skills of the youth on the project. Selected beneficiaries will also be able to take further training for a 3-month course in Italy. Some fashion designers have been contacted, and we hope that when we find those who have done very well, we'll be able to take them to Italy. The project will be able to take them and sponsor them. We are working with 2 local rights partners, Ideal Development and Resource Center, IDRC here present, and also Kairos Youth Empowerment Initiative also present. We believe in working with local partners. ActionAid has 3 country offices, so this is, I would say, Edo is the 4th one, though we are pitching in partners' office. ActionAid has its head office is in Abuja. We have a field office in Lagos, and also we have a field office with in Maiduguri because of the insurgency. To support the work that we do, I lead about 110 staff, patriotic Nigerians that are working tirelessly, supporting women and girls, women and children, people living with disability, because we work with the most vulnerable. In 2020, we begin implementation of the women-led integrated protection against gender-based violence, which is followed up by the COVID-19 lockdown and the surge in gender-based violence that was recorded. The National Demography Health Survey currently ranks Edo as quite high when it comes to gender-based violence. The government has taken this negative bull by the horn, so we appreciate the efforts of your government in tackling this menace. To stop, and also by establishing, the one-stop GBV Survival Center, for women and girls. We appreciate you, Your Excellency. We hope to continue to complement the efforts of the government, of the state government, to combat GBV by working to build the capacity of women-led organizations in the state in implementing protection and gender-based violence interventions, as well as providing survival center services to women and girls who are survivors of the gender-based violence. The government of Edo State, since coming into office, the present government, taking progressive steps, including job creation, especially for youth. ActionAid Nigeria is aware of the Edo State initiatives we can only urge the government on and ask for more. We want to implore the governor to continue to do more on skills acquisition for young people, because we know that Edo State holds a boundary. Your responsibility is not only to Edo State, because when we're implementing the first project, we realize that a number of people are not from Edo State, yet they are under your leadership. They are citizens, they have come to love Edo State, and many of them are on your ground. So it's like the center that had to hold so many citizens of Nigeria. And so during the first phase of the migration project, the state government committed to creating a technology village. We asked for it, and we are told that there was something in progress for technology village, which will further harness the growth of small-scale businesses like those supported by ActionAid, and further fast-track the economic development in the state. We asked for this because when we do the training, like those that we are graduating now, we see rent shops for a year for them, and we pay for the shops. And what we are hoping for is, if Edo State has a technology village, we can then make that place viable so that it will cost them less. It's also an environment of a center for development where they can be monitored, be further supported for their economic, technology development. And that is what we are still asking for, and we hope that you pay attention to that. We'll really appreciate it. ActionAid will be presenting equipment and materials to the first set of the 1,000 beneficiaries who have been, formed into 50 cooperatives, of course, through the Ministry of Wealth Creation and cooperatives. They have collaborated with us, and this is ongoing. In line with this is why we would like to invite the executive governor to please, be the special guest of honor in this, to flag off the distribution of this equipment to your citizens. On the issue of gender-based violence, we want to use this medium to also call for justice for Uwavera Omozua, and Mrs. Queen Iginevo, who were raped and killed, and other women who have suffered gender-based violence, because these are state offenses, and that can be prosecuted within. So we call on your attention again to ensure that justice is meted. ActionAid wishes to state her continuous support for the Edo State government, and we collectively will work to improve the lives of our people. We are thankful to the Italian embassy who has given us the resources. Our own is to identify what is happening in the state and look for, resources as well. We want to thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for honoring our. On behalf of ActionAid, I present to you a T-shirt that has, that welcomes you to be an ambassador for safe migration. Thank you very much.
And with that presentation of souvenirs, may I now respectfully invite Mr. Governor to respond, please.
The Secretary to the Government of Edo State, Governor's Office, Women Affairs. So you see, when you talk about, three of our permanent secretaries seated here, all three are women. It's with great delight and pleasure I welcome you and members of your team and partners to Government House today, and also to thank you immensely for the work you have been doing to support the various causes, particularly supporting the vulnerable, not only in Edo State but your other programs across the country. Really was a real worthwhile gesture, and we want to urge you to continue in this light of the support. We have to, agree with you that without social justice, we cannot end poverty. And to imagine that you're running 17 projects in Nigeria, just shows the level of efficiency and thoughtfulness which you have given your interventions. I'm aware of the SMILE project. I'm very conscious of, the various initiatives which you've supported us on, particularly the Child's Parliament very early in the life of our administration last term. I know you worked with us on the child protection policy, for which we're grateful. And you've been a partner with the Italian government on various initiatives on migration. We're quite excited when we find people like you who have this commitment, beyond the pecuniary, to causes that support the fabric of society. And the role you play, your interventionist role, to support government. Unfortunately, the role people like you and other organizations play sometimes in our country is largely misunderstood, and it's as if it's your responsibility, and the burden is now left totally to you. And you've had to organize yourselves to cope in that guise. In Edo, we are hopefully going to reverse that relationship. What you're doing is, first and foremost, the responsibility of government. And it's because of government failure that you are now intervening. And we really appreciate you for that. But going forward, we'll have to arm you with the tools. We need to give you data based on which your intervention can be a lot more meaningful. We also need to get you to align your programs with our own state programs to avoid waste and duplications. It's also necessary that beyond your programs, we should have mechanisms to follow up, to evaluate, to determine impacts. This term, because of the scarcity of resources, we are organizing ourselves, we are organizing government to play that very supportive role. I'm glad that you want to support and assist the capacity of 7 or so agencies that are aligned with your programs. But we have to understand clearly what type of support, because we are currently transforming our own civil service to appreciate the roles they have to play and the supportive roles that agencies like you play. And also to try and foster transparency so that we can see the range of resources that are coming into the system and how to deploy such resources. We're very excited at the Dare to Hope program and want to assure you that we're going to partner with you, but also to encourage you to sit with us early. Let us understand the full extent. You'll be amazed at the amount of data we're now pulling together. Currently, as I speak, we're undertaking, a major data enumeration program in the state. In Oredo alone, you have about 1,200 young men and women who are going door to door to obtain statistics and data on the social conditions, socioeconomic conditions of our people. I'll just give you an example. Every day, I try and review with them the progress they've made. And last night, I said, well, now you're completing Oredo. Let me review the data with you. Yes, we looked at the data of households, the number of people, access to water, access to electricity. And what struck me, I said, oh, widows. Okay, how many widows did you enumerate in Oredo? Oh, 3,200. Sure. I looked at it and I said, okay, can I see the database? They showed me. And I just randomly said, okay, you know what? Call that person. And I called her. Are you so-and-so? So say yes. Oh, did you see my emeritus who came to see? Yes, I did. Oh, thank you for giving them information. By the way, what do you do? So, well, I used to trade. I used to go to the village markets to buy materials. But because of COVID, because of the lockdown, I ran out of capital. So I'm not doing much today. Then I then went into the conversation, how much will you need? If you got money, how will you pay back? You know, and it just showed me how powerful data we have, which can be useful. We'll have the same thing for unemployed youth and on and on. So don't write off the state. Let's reverse that tokenistic relationship where it's like, I've come to help you. No, we've come to work together. That's how we want to relate with agencies like yours going forward, particularly in the area of migration. That's one area internally we've done a lot of work. We have data, as you know, working with IOM, and we have a huge database of returnees where we have been able to get, we believe, quite detailed information to understand the socioeconomic circumstances that forced some of these people to migrate. So it helps in, conserving some of the resources you will have been spending. We can tell you data of the areas that are most prone to migration and why. So you don't need to now spend a lot of resources replicating all of that. And we can now sit with you and review what we think the intervention program should be. So that way we can conserve resources and move resources into the areas of most needs. And after you have finished the Dare to Hope program, in 2, 3 years, 5 years, then we can come back and say, you know what, thank you. Because of your intervention, this is what has happened in the lives of X, Y, Z people. Rather than just walk away, program ends up and we walk away and, we'll close the chapter and render accounts. So we hope that you would look at collaborating with us from that perspective going forward. We're working very hard on transforming our ministries. Our permanent secretaries are right on top of the transformation process. We're going through creating scorecards for each program. So, working with civil servants will be a very unique experience because they're utilizing technology, to do their work, and they just, understand the need for data in making decisions. Yes, we are working on making sure that we empower our youth with technology. And we're doing it at 2 levels. First, at the basic school level with EdoBest. I'm sure you have heard about the transformation going on at the basic educational level. So the teachers and pupils are learning with utilizing technology. But at the level of those who have dropped out, those who have dropped through the cracks, we are concerned about and attending to. A lot of training from our innovation hub. We have partnered with a company and to build a technology park. The initial campus, the start of campus is, being worked on, and hopefully the first intakes will go in there before the end of March. But that's different from the village. So this idea of, it's something we need to work with to build, our technology village, stalls, shops, where people can go, repair their computers. We help organize those guys on Airport Road into other areas that we'll work on. And hopefully you will see if I can go and source a bit more funding from your donors for that project. I want to promise that if I'm not at the flag off, your partner, the First Lady, will be there. And to assure you that the issue of violence against women and children is something, how strongly we feel about. We've set up the Vivian Center for treatment and rehabilitation of victims. But we have retooled the whole investigation, prosecution, and collaboration mechanism with the law enforcement agents. As you know, a lot of work was done, and the register for offenders, both electronic and physical, currently exists. And in the case of the unfortunate case of Omozo and the others who've been killed, we have spent quite a lot of resources with the investigation. The forensics have been done, a lot of evidence have been obtained, and prosecution should start if it hasn't already started. I will follow up today, but we're very, very interested in that case, and we will get to justice. I want to thank you very much for this visit, and to assure you that now I'm wearing your vest, that I am a real partner of ActionAid, and when I see the ambassador this week or next week in Abuja, I'll just let him know about our meeting and encourage them to give a bit more support to the programs. Once again, welcome and thank you very much.